the desert of the real.
Welcome to the Desert of the Real. I'm your host, Jason Dietz. Joined with me is your other host,
Ryan Hudson.
Ryan, the Mystery Man Hudson. The Desert of the Real, Jason's Choice, is a movie podcast where I force my co-host to watch movies that I think are great, except for in this case. This is just a movie that I love with my whole heart.
Okay, that means it's a great movie.
Okay.
Like,
then
you're contradicting yourself.
Watch, but it's not a great movie.
If it brings you joy, that means
right,
it's good.
But it's not great in like the sense of like The Green Mile or The Godfather. It's just great because I love it.
Okay, pause the intro.
Okay.
You can have movies that aren't trying to be The Godfather be genuinely good movies.
Yes,
like this.
But not great.
You don't need to say this isn't a good movie.
Okay. This is... whatever. I got derailed by the mystery man in the room.
I'm the derailer. That's my superpower.
Okay, there you go. The Desert of the Real, Jason's Choice, is a movie podcast where I force my co-host, Ryan Hudson, to watch movies that I think are great, that he hasn't watched yet because he didn't have time. We're currently not watching Star Wars. You can cut that. We're two high school English, film, philosophy, creativity, music appreciation teachers with graduate degrees, and we attempt to use our academic training to dig deeply into movies. We explore the creativity, philosophy, film studies, and ethics in our films, and we push our listeners to think critically about their entertainment. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Desert of the Real. I personally am very excited to talk about this movie because, as I already mentioned, I love this movie. And so, thanks for being here for my little joy bucket or whatever this is going to be.
I like that, Jason's Joy Bucket.
Yeah.
Did you see this movie when it came out in 1999?
No, the answer to that question every time you ask it is no.
Okay, when did you see this movie?
I don't know.
Because I feel like this movie
I was probably 2005, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember watching it with my wife. My wife really does not like these kind of movies at all.
Yeah.
And I was like almost peeing my pants laughing so much in this movie. And I look over at her, and I remember she just got her head in her hands, and she's just shaking her head. I'm like, oh, come on, this is hilarious. She said, this is stupid. So I remember that. It was early in our marriage, so.
That's awesome.
Kind of.
There was a whole slew of...
She fell asleep halfway through this time also, so.
She didn't appreciate it this time?
Nope.
Okay, growing up in the early 2000s, or the aughts, if you will. Anyway, there was a whole slew of PG-13 comedies that had this reputation of... I think this is bundled... I don't think this is that... This isn't that bad of a movie. There's maybe two raunchy jokes, But I remember growing up, my mom would always say, these PG-13 movies are worse than our movies these days. And I think Austin Powers is the biggest culprit.
Yes, I hate Austin Powers.
But I think just a bunch of comedies in this slew of time, early 2000s, just was branded. At least that's why I probably didn't see it growing up, because they just assumed it was way too inappropriate.
Raunchy, yeah.
So I didn't see it till now.
That's sad for you. All that time of joy that you could have had was just lost.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting place in the history of, I guess, superhero movies.
Yeah.
Because, not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, we talked about Phantom Menace. The year 1999 is a pivotal movie year.
Yeah.
And if we could get into that, I looked up, there's an article I or an NPR article I read that talked about the year 1999 and movies. So there was a book written, How 1999 Blew Up the Big Screen, by Brian Raftery. And he calls the book The Best Movie Year Ever. That's the full title.
Cool.
This brief summary of what he says in the NPR article. He says 1999 is this year where we have big blockbusters like Star Wars, but we have a bunch of movies that actually were huge risks. Like, for example, The Matrix.
Yeah.
These two new directors directing a big film.
This was Shyamalan's first movie, right?
Okay, and then we have The Sixth Sense, which was huge. A huge movie from a new director, not based on a book or established anything. We also have The Blair Witch Project, which was not an expensive gamble, but it paid off immensely, hugely.
Started a whole genre of film, basically.
Exactly. And then we have directors like David Fincher. Fight Club comes out. There's lots of these ideas. When you go through these movies, there's a lot of kind of overlapping ideas. You wouldn't think of Office Space and Fight Club as being the same world, but they're both about...
this was Office Space year 2?
Yeah, they're both about leaving this kind of structure of your world and kind of trying to go outside and create your own identity, or kind of lose your identity and kind of reclaim yourself. And there's a movie called Boys Don't Cry, which came out this year, Being John Malkovich. Literally things about other body experiences.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That's one of my favorite movies. That came out this year. Baby Geniuses. That's one of the worst movies ever made. Came out this year.
But also indie films and indie directors are making it big. Like David Fincher was still basically an indie guy at that point. Not to mention top directors. This is the article again. Top directors that were just coming onto the scene this year. Fincher, Anderson, Spike Jonze, and Christopher Nolan are coming out with their first thing. So the industry was kind of ripe for new ideas, and also a transitioning to 90s has been just so comfy and cozy. Yeah. It's just, let's just keep going and see what we can do. So Mystery Men literally was just lost in the mix to some degree.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It wasn't even the top 5 movies when it came out.
I would imagine a lot of people have never even heard of this movie.
Anyway, so 99 was just this year where things just kind of came to a big point of anything could happen. But anyway, it's a time for movies to change. Ideas were growing, and 9/11 was right around the corner, which would shake all that for, it would just, 9/11 would change just everything.
Yeah,
but
it did. And I remember.
Yeah. I also remember, but I was different.
2?
I was, 8. I was in 2nd grade.
Wow, you're old.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mystery Men. I didn't know this, but it was based on a comic, a Dark Horse comic.
It was. Danny
DeVito was going to direct and star in this movie, but they couldn't agree on something, so he literally stepped away. He stepped away from a $12 million deal because he just disagreed strongly on whatever it was. He was going to be the shoveler, basically.
Oh. Well, I'm glad he wasn't.
and then Ben Stiller was going to direct, and he stepped away and was eventually convinced later on to join the project. Okay, and it only made about half his budget in 99, but it's like I said, got drowned out. But it's eventually made cult classic status.
Yeah.
And Ben Stiller was asked not too long ago now, is there ever potential for a sequel? And he said, yeah, I got some anger in me. I feel like I can find something.
Yeah.
I don't know if a sequel would work because I don't know if the audience is big enough, but that doesn't mean...
I would watch a sequel.
But we are now in a point where superhero movies are just different now. It's a different... I think there's room for a sequel.
I agree. I would love a sequel. It's, 25 years later, so William H. Macy's lot older. Pee Wee Herman's dead. Paul Rubin.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know what they would do. Anyhow.
If I'm being honest, I hated his pimply face. I was like,
You were supposed to.
I know, but I'm like, every time he came on, I was like,
The spleen.
I did laugh quite a bit
Yeah.
about this movie. My favorite part, I think, was when they're flipping the toggles. And what's the superhero's name?
Captain Amazing, of course.
It's like, flip the toggle. So wait, I already did. Do you mean flip it again? Yeah, flip it again. Okay. Like, do you understand what I'm asking you?
Does he understand what I'm asking? Should we
thought
count or not count the superfluous or not superfluous toggle flip? Just flip the toggle, you morons!
I thought that was pretty
Oh
funny.
my gosh.
That might have been my favorite part, I think.
I have so many favorite parts.
There's just silly things too.
Yeah.
Like, I love Jeffrey Rush just in general. Like, this guy is an Academy Award winning actor at this point, and he's just doing this. There's one point where he's
total
like,
ham.
quick, to the disco room! And he just points like
Like,
dumb things like that.
so funny.
I mean, it is
We
silly.
can boogie. Like, he just totally puts himself completely into that role.
Yeah.
I love it
Yeah.
so much.
And it's all the better for it. Like,
Oh my gosh.
he is looking past. That's what you gotta do. You got some of the best roles in comedies are just the guys playing it straight. You know, like it's a drama.
Yeah.
I think that's basically what he's doing here.
Yeah, so good though. Okay, so I haven't seen this movie for a fairly long time, probably 7-8 years, and sometimes when you go back to a movie that you love, you're like, oh, that's not as awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I'll never forget, like, so when I was a kid, A-Team, Knight Rider, The Dukes of Hazzard, I watched those on TV religiously, and I'm like, these guys are the awesomest! And then, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I came across a set of VHS tapes. You'll look that up if you don't know what those are, of Knight Rider. And I was so excited, and I bought them, and I got home, and I'm, like, halfway through the first episode, and I'm like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Holy crap, this is terrible. So, anyhow, coming to Mystery Man, after a long time of not watching, I was really worried that was going to be, I was going to be like, oh, man, this really kind of sucks. But no, like, literally the only con I could come up with is it's kind of corny at some points. That's literally it. Everything else, I'm like, this movie it completes me. It is straight joy for me. So, I don't have any cons, really.
Okay, so I think it's exactly what it needs to be, like what it wants to be.
Yep.
It's perfectly sitting in like the parody and satire like groove there.
Yeah.
Because it's goofy, but it's also here's the interesting. This movie is parodying superhero movies.
Yeah.
But a specific type of superhero movies, but more specifically superhero movies that came out before 1999.
Right.
So. What are the superhero movies? There's Superman movies.
Batman.
And then Batman. I think specifically Batman.
Probably.
People forget how huge Batman was. And influential.
Yep.
Also, I learned this. It's not only... like, they also have some sets that were used in, like, the last Batman movie. So I think the whole,
really?
retirement home... I think that's just
cool.
From the Batman and Robin movie with Mr. Freeze and stuff.
Sure.
That's like they're that on point.
I think it's interesting that the new Batman movies ripped off the blowing up of the hospital from Mystery Man. I've no doubt that's exactly, he was watching Mystery Man. He's like, that's awesome. We're going to pull that and put it in The Dark Knight. So that's probably a joke, but maybe not.
Well, no, but literally the turning point for all super movies is just around the corner. There's a YouTube essayist, Patrick Willems. He talked about in the 80s and 90s we used to build these big epic cities in our superhero movies and fantasy movies, and we just don't do that anymore. So he talks about Batman, Tim Burton Batman. Gotham is not like a real city,
right?
And he talks about like Blade Runner. buildings are so high, it's like in the future type of building.
Right.
And he has specific examples like Dark City and The Crow, Babe, Pig in the Big City. All these like cities that are just nothing like real life, but they kind of look like sets, but they also feed onto like the tone of the movie. Yeah. This movie did that. I was flying in, that's what made me think of it. Like, it's the giant statue of Captain Incredible and stuff.
Amazing.
Captain Amazing.
Captain Amazing.
Like, it's literally taking the Batman Gotham stuff. Mm-hmm. In the video, he will say, like, in the 90s, kind of like we were talking about earlier, there's this shift of maybe being more cynical of big business or corporations and capitalism and stuff. Sure. Throughout the 90s, where we're turning away from the fantastical things we saw in movies into more realistic. And that's why, like, in like X-Men, the first X-Men movie, they go out of their way not to be super comic booky. Like, they're all wearing black leather, and they literally have the line that says, "What did you expect? Yellow spandex?"
Yeah.
You know?
I remember.
And then, like, Spider-Man, which is bright and colorful, it's still more grounded. Yeah. And then a little bit later, we get Batman Begins, like, throw out all the Tim Burton stuff, and this is like Chicago, basically. Yeah. It's just, it became, and that's also post 9/11 too, that also factors into it, but it's all just realism now. Yeah. And this isn't a spoof on those movies that came before 1999. Yeah. That's why it's so specific. Right. Like, the Marvel movies don't reflect this movie at all, because like all the movies we watch, it's crazy we didn't watch this for the Marvel movies.
That's back when I was trying to be like, you know, these are the great movies of cinema that you've never seen.
Well, but the thing is, it wouldn't have exactly matched those anyway.
Probably
We've
not.
moved away. That's why a sequel might not be a bad idea. Now we have like almost 2 decades worth of changed Marvel superhero landscape. That's why point. For me it's also it was impossible not to think of The Boys for this. The Boys is a super like R-rated superhero TV show on Amazon, which is kind of fun because it's playing with that same idea. Like, it's like, what if Superman was evil, believed he was better? But this movie, when Captain Amazing comes in, he's like got sponsors on it. It's like that's prototype The Boys. Like, these superheroes not only get paid, they have movie deals, they have sponsorship deals and stuff.
Oh, so The Boys came out of Mystery Men also?
I think it must have. I think it's like,
that's cool.
Like, I guess, grown up in quotes version of what this movie was kind of doing in 1999.
Huh. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, at least it was. But it's less smart now, it feels like.
So those are the cons? I don't know.
Oh, the con is the dang skunk scene.
Yeah.
You don't need that. It just wasn't funny to begin with. Maybe if he could control skunks or something. I don't know.
The skunk was attracted to his foul scent.
Yeah, whatever.
But
it's fine.
I agree.
That was the one joke. I was like, all right.
I agree. That was not necessary.
I don't know.
Okay, so pros.
It's funny.
It's hilarious. I love it. So my list, like the cast, I think this is like one of the best casting jobs I've seen. Like, the original X-Men cast, I think is the perfect casting job. But this is right up there for me. I feel like every character in this is perfect for what they're doing and for what they should be. So there's that, and then I have just this massive list of all of the little things. I don't know if we want to go through
off your
it.
top favorite. What are your favorite things?
I don't know. There's all of them. So I love Mr. Fury's insults because he's so inept at. They're just hilarious. It's like they remind me of like Anchorman when he's like, "Where'd you get your pants?" The toilet store, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a Corvette limo Okay, there's never
That's
been a more
cool.
cool vehicle on the planet than the Corvette limo in this. They're arguing about who Captain Amazing is, and he's like, Lance Hunt wears glasses. Captain Amazing doesn't wear glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I love... So Ben Stiller is one of the actors for me he hits most of the time, but I really don't like his raunchy stuff. I really wish he would just be this guy, because he's really good at this guy. So when Captain Amazing first encounters Casanova Frankenstein, and the whole, I knew that you'd know that. Yeah. I knew that you'd know that I knew that. But did you know that I would know that you would know that? I don't know.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Just the names of all of this stuff, each one of the names is hilarious in itself. So, like, in that scene, what Captain Amazing's like, oh, look what, you accidentally left this detonator and whatever, and it goes off in his face and he passes out, and he's like, no, actually, that's a chloroform deploying portable enticement snare. Like, it's just this very specific name that it's specifically to entice you. Or the Herkimer Battle Jitney. Every time they say that, I love that. I don't know why. It's just, like, I'm totally geeking. It's okay. Whatever. So my favorite scene is when Ben Stiller first goes to work, and his boss is like, I want you to junk that old Jeep out there. And he's like, well, I don't know if you knew this, but that's not actually a Jeep. And she's just like, junk it. And then he's like, but it's not a Jeep. I can't just take a crowbar, junk it. And then he's like, if you say junk it one more time. And she like leans forward. She's like, junk it. And he grabs this little freaking
Yeah, the stress ball.
The stress ball. He's like, that little sucker just saved your life. Anyhow, it's so good.
Yeah.
Or they're sneaking into Casanova's house, and they come out, and they've got the guns, and they're like all making fun. That's your superpower? You've got guns? What is that? And then, like, look at your outfits. There's no theme here at all. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's a Harley compatible. It's Harley compatible. He's trying to get this girl. It's so good.
Yeah.
The whole tryout scene, I love everything about that scene.
Do you know who some of those people are?
I have no idea, but it's so good.
The waffle guy, that's Dane Cook.
I don't know who
He's
that
a comedian.
is. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but here's one that's less cool, but cool for me. Doug Jones was a racer man. Who's Doug Jones? He's famous for being like creatures and monsters in a bunch of movies. Like, he's in the Del Toro stuff. He was the child-eating monster in Pan's Labyrinth. He plays the monster in Shape of Water. He's like not a famous actor, but he's famous for playing monsters because he's just got this long body, basically.
Yeah.
He's tall and got long limbs. He's perfect for being in crazy costumes.
Being a racer.
And I recognize him. Like, I know who that is.
Son of a racer head.
There's a couple other. You want to know a couple other cameos?
For sure. In
the bad guys, there's CeeLo, CeeLo Green. I learned this. I looked it up. He was in a group that ended in 1999. Him and his whole group. CeeLo Green became more famous afterwards. I don't know what he's done recently though. Anyway,
I have a clue
the listeners know who CeeLo Green is.
Oh, okay.
Forget You. That guy.
Okay.
You don't know that song?
No. But that's okay. I'm secure in not knowing that song.
And then the frat boys, Michael Bay was the leader.
Oh, really?
That was Michael Bay. Can we bring the brewskis? Yeah, you could bring the brewskis.
Yes, you can bring the brewskis.
That was Michael Bay.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that whole scene just cracks me up.
Oh, yeah, big,
time.
what is it, Big Smoke? Or
Big Tobacco.
Big Tobacco.
Or like, Ben Stiller's trying to get Janine Garofalo's character to not join. He's like, well, we'll have to, look at all the other qualified applicants. And William H. Macy's like, what other qualified applicants? He's like, shut up. That's great. The attack on the limo is fantastic. That's one of my, oh my goodness. And then they're getting drunk because they beat the limo up and they come out and and they're trying to come up with their name, and then the disco boys show up, and they're like, how about the 6 dead guys in stupid costumes? I love that. Every time Furious and Mr. Furious and the Bowler are arguing, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't know, do I? I don't know, do you? Do you? They're like these grown adults.
And then when she's like, I'm going back to graduate school.
Yeah. I love everything.
I liked the other scene I liked is when they're being trained by, what is the Sphinx?
The Sphinx?
The Sphinx. How long do I have to put my feet in watermelon?
I don't remember. In order to learn, you must first learn to whatever.
Actually, that one's the one I think is the best one, unironically. Right. To learn my teaching, I must first teach you to learn. Yeah. You have to be taught how to learn sometimes. I was like,
for sure.
That one's the one. I mean, it's fun. Okay, there's some funny parts. Like, I hate making these dumb, like, costumes. Anyone got a thimble? I need a thimble.
It's just this constant stream of joy. I don't know. Everything. The toggle flipping scene. I love when... So one of the characters is the Blue Raja, who's got this, outrageous British accent. Yeah. I love when his mom finds him trying to get the silverware, and he finally just gives up, and he's just this long tirade of this is what I do, and aren't you ashamed, and whatever he says. And he ends with, your boy's a limey fork flinger. What do you think about that? She's like, Jeffrey, I always knew you were special.
Yeah.
Everything they do. So Mr. Furious, sorry, I keep...
No worries.
I love this movie.
Do you know who that guy's been in?
No.
He's Hank Azaria. He's in movies, but he's probably most famous for being a voice actor. He's Mo on The Simpsons, among with other Simpsons characters.
Yeah,
He's the Egyptian bad guy Night at the Museum too.
It's like,
do not cross this line.
Yeah.
He must be good friends with Ben Stiller in real life.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I love how he just loses the British accent.
Yep. He's actually this little shy.
Anyway.
The Apollo 13 walk, I love, with like the lightning and whatever, and they walk out of the thing, and then Ben Stiller's character, Mr. Furious, at that point is doubting that he has powers, and so he turns around and they grab him. I love the whole scene where they're trying to piss him off. Like, they're trying to get him to be angry, and they're coming up with all these insults, and it's William H. Macy's, your penmanship is atrocious! Doesn't that make you mad? No. And then the whole attack, like everything about this movie. One last one. So at the end, when they're being interviewed and whatever, William H. Macy's like, we won this fight with this blah blah, and with the hammer of not bickering. I think that's my favorite line of his. Okay,
wait,
I'm done.
Now I thought of a funny line.
Okay.
When it's like, I can trust my powers. I trust my powers. I can trust the powers of my teammates. And they're all like, I can trust the powers of my teammates.
Like, there's not a moment in this movie where there's not something funny going on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay, so can I overanalyze
the
part where he turns invisible?
Okay, yes.
It's a funny joke. He can only turn invisible when no one's looking.
Right.
And when he himself is not looking. That's like...
Right.
Like an S-tier joke, you know?
Right. Yep.
But we are looking. We are viewers here.
Yep.
And we see him turn invisible, so... How does that translate as us as an audience watching the scene? Do we not exist? Are we not... Does it erase who we are?
As the viewer?
As the viewer?
It might just kind of put a screen between us and them.
Know what this reminded me of?
What?
In Tarkovsky's movie Stalker from 1979.
Okay.
It's just a brief 2 hours, 43 minutes. You tried watching it once and you texted me that.
Went back and finished it.
Did you?
And it wasn't any better.
What's in Stalker? What's their goal to get to? Where are they trying to get to?
I don't remember.
All right.
They're going across this endless wasteland of some crap and nothing happens, and then they get to somewhere and nothing else happens, and then they get somewhere else and nothing happens. Is basically that movie. They're
in the zone.
Right.
What the zone does is not well understood.
Not at all.
There's actually a video game called Stalker where you fight monsters and things based on. Anyway, in the movie, it's not like that. It's like throwing like bolts and stuff to not be affected by
reason.
the anomalies.
Sure.
Anyway, here's the thing: they're trying to get to the room, and the room is supposedly where your desire becomes fulfilled. You get to this room, you got to make a wish, essentially. That does make it sound really exciting. It's very slow.
It's not.
Imagine it takes 3 hours to get to this room.
Exciting. Sorry.
They get to the room, and you know what they see in the room?
Death.
Doesn't matter. We don't see it, but know what they're looking at?
Death.
They're looking at us.
Oh.
They're looking at the camera. We are looking at them looking at us as the camera backs away into this room. We have become the room. We're this viewer. We are now have ascended to being whatever this is that makes the dreams fulfilled. The audience watching the screen. And Mystery Men takes this idea and like throws it out of the window.
Yeah.
You know? Are we not subjective to being an audience that is watching something? No. We don't even matter in this universe.
It's true.
I mean,
they're trying to save the city from Casanova. What do they have time to...
Right.
Yeah.
We don't exist here. It's just... I thought of that, though. Those were my thoughts watching the movie.
Cool.
Letting you know.
I didn't really have any deep thoughts like that at all. I was just like loving everything.
I was like, this is part of Mr. Man's like Stalker.
How dare you? It is not like Stalker. Oh, man.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
That movie was dumb. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. What? Yeah.
When? Can it ever be important to get angry?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When? Why?
When something that you believe in deeply is threatened.
Is it ever essential to be angry?
I think so. In the cases I said. Like, when I get angry is when things I believe deeply in are threatened. So primarily my family. Is it useful? I don't know. Was it beneficial to be angry? I don't know. But probably, I guess a more accurate answer would be like, professionally, I have very strong beliefs in what should be done as a teacher.
Yes.
Anytime someone threatens that or gets in the way of it or tries to stop it, I get angry.
Bureaucracy.
And
wields its ugly head once again.
yes. And so I use that anger to protect what is important to me.
Yeah.
So I personally feel like that kind of anger is useful and important.
I don't think it's good to be angry. I don't think... Okay, defending your family is one thing, but that could maybe not be anger, necessarily. It's like holding a grudge, like being angry at someone. I don't know if that's going to lead to anything beneficial.
No, it
but
doesn't.
Like in Footloose, where he's angry dancing in that factory. Remember that?
Vaguely.
Then
And so that led...
when he's angry dancing, that falls off the cliff, and it goes on for like 5 minutes and he's falling down this cliff. Have you seen Hot Rod?
Yes, I
man.
love Hot Rod.
It's a tree. Anyway, I actually don't know if it's beneficial to be angry, with the exception of protecting your family. I'll give you that.
What about protecting your ideals? Things that you believe in?
I don't know. Does that
threatened.
take anger?
I mean, okay, that's fair. I guess I would say anger is a tool in the box that you would use to protect things that are important to you.
Yeah.
It's not the only tool.
Yeah. Okay.
But I guess it would be a final tool, maybe. So after you've exhausted the other options for protecting what you believe in, sometimes you just gotta get angry.
Yeah. All right. You love this movie.
I do.
It's been a long time since you just had a long list of things you loved.
It has, because I don't get to pick most movies. So philosophically, there are actually some pretty deep stuff going on here philosophically. So I've just picked two of the major questions. So one of them is, what larger contexts outside of ourselves should we be connecting to? So this movie suggests, like, I'm thinking of, at one point, the shoveler, which is William H. Macy's character, is kind of arguing with his wife. Mm-hmm. And he's like, God gave me a gift. I shovel really well.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is, I cannot just use that gift to take care of myself. I have to use it to take care of other people. And I feel
It's
like
the Spider-Man thing.
Sure, but better.
Right. No, I don't know about that.
And so the whole reason why the shoveler's character specifically is trying to keep the mystery men together, trying to get this done, is because he believes that if you can do something good, you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's imperative. To the point that he's willing to give up his family, which I don't necessarily agree with. But at one point his wife's like, if you leave tonight, I won't be here when you get back. And he's like, well, that's a chance I'm going to have to take.
Yeah, well, but with that example, literally everyone in the city was going to die.
Right, right. And so he's like, I have to go save the city. So that is the larger context for him. But we also, we have other answers. So like Mr. Furious's larger context is he wants to be known. He wants to be like Captain Amazing. He wants to get credit and visibility. So that's an answer, a possible answer to this. The spleen just wants to connect to people.
Yeah, so his archetype is the orphan, I suppose.
100%. He just wants to connect to people. So every character in this represents a different answer to what context should we be striving to connect to. And so it just gives us I don't remember what the name of what is he? Dr. A. Heller. Dr. Heller is the maker of the all the non-lethal weaponry that they use. He just wants to make the world better by removing not killing people.
Yeah.
And so, every character represents a possible answer to this, which I think is awesome because most movies don't pull that off. Most movies don't give you just here's the whole panoply, this whole smorgasbord of options.
What is that word?
Panoply.
That's not it.
It is. It's
That's
panoply.
not a word.
Hang on.
You mean pantheon?
Pantheon
probably works better.
The meaning of panoply is a complete or impressive collection of things.
Okay, well.
And it's panoply. So, not every movie gives you this whole panoply of options as an answer to philosophical questions.
Yeah, I like that.
It is. It's super cool. The other one I picked was, what ideals of human perfection should we be striving for? And so we've got Captain Amazing, who is basically amazing at everything. He can stop any bad guy. Early in the movie, when he's talking with his promoter or whatever he is, he's you've taken out every bad guy that Champion City has ever had. There's nobody left. That's why you're losing your sponsors.
See, you know what? That reminded me. You ever see Megamind?
Yes.
That reminded me of Megamind. Almost specifically. It's I just need someone else to fight.
I need a bad guy.
To flip it around.
Or an opponent. Yeah. So we've got Captain Amazing as, the epitome of perfection, but very quickly we realize he's not that. He is perfect at, fighting. Yeah. But there's a long list of things that he's not perfect at, and it ends up killing him. But then again, every one of these characters gives us a different option about what is the answer to this question. So should you be perfect in avenging your family, avenging wrongs? That's the bowler, baby bowler. Should you be perfect at I don't know, there's a lot. I don't know who I have left.
The Invisible?
Yeah, Invisibly. So should you be perfect in your ability to be being unseen by people and influencing people behind the scenes, where not not calling attention to yourself. So he's kind of the foil of Mr. Furious. Mr. Furious is should you be perfect in being visible and calling attention to your good deeds so other people can. But the waitress that Mr. Furious is interested in, her role is just be you. So should we be perfect in just becoming ourselves? Yeah, so like everyone has a different answer to that. Yeah. This movie is just this gorgeous philosophical treatise that's hidden under a very thick layer of just friggin' hilariousness.
Yeah.
So,
I honestly think if it wasn't for the crazy 1999 year, it would have been a bigger hit.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been. Like there's so many famous people, and these are great performances, in my opinion, by everyone in it. That's philosophy.
I like that.
I love it.
I have, you know what I did?
What?
I brought a little philosophy myself.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what came out of this movie that at the time, and maybe still true to some extent, which was a bigger hit than the movie itself?
I don't know.
Do you know what song plays at the end credits?
Oh, the Smash Mouth song?
All Star by Smash Mouth. Do you know what movie arguably made that song famous, though? I think it came out 2 years later.
The race movie. Rat Race?
Nope.
Oh, I don't know then.
Shrek.
Ugh.
Shrek, starts with this song, and people don't know All Star by Mystery Man. They almost all know it from Shrek.
Oh.
Even though if you look up the music video, it's all Mystery Man themed and based around Mystery Man.
Oh, cool.
Which is
I did not know that.
Okay, so I am going to cite my sources. I am quoting almost exclusively from a video from Wisecrack on YouTube. Back when they were good, am I right? Anyway. So I just want to read a couple of our lyrics here from Smash Mouth's All-Star. It's a cool place. They say it gets colder. You bundle up now, wait till you get older. But the meteor men beg to differ, judging by the hole in the satellite picture. The ice we skate is getting pretty thin. The water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. My world's on fire. How about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored. Is this maybe talking about climate change? Or anti-intellectualism?
Sure.
Well, the lead singer actually did say, yes, this is about climate change.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, ice getting thin, water getting warm. But anti-intellectualism, are we ignoring a problem we could fix type of thing?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Is there some meaning there?
I don't know.
Okay, so there's a philosopher named Albert Camus. Do you know Albert Camus?
I do.
His name looks
not
like
personally,
it's Albert Camus.
Yeah, but it's not Albert Camus.
It's not Albert Camus. It's Camus.
Albert Camus.
Albert Camus. All right. He had this idea about absurdism.
Yes, he did.
And absurdism is essentially the universe is a cruel joke that is indifferent to our existence.
Yep.
So if we look back at the lyrics of All-Star, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Fed to the rules and I hit the ground running. Didn't make sense not to live for fun. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb. So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets? You'll never know if you don't go. You'll never shine if you don't glow. And then, actually, the chorus actually applies directly to it, where it says, only shooting stars break the mold. Mm-hmm. So it's literally kind of saying, you might as well just live your life, right? The universe doesn't care about you, so make the most out of life. However, it should be noted, absurdism is not hedonism.
No.
They seem like hedonism. I don't think I have the definition there. Hedonism.
Live for pleasure.
It's different, and that this difference is significant in this example.
Yeah.
Analyzing all
Smash
Mouths.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But there's another philosopher, Jean-Paul Sartre.
Sartre.
Sartre? What?
Jean-Paul Sartre.
Jean-Paul Sartre.
Not John. Anyhow.
Okay, I said it wrong.
It's okay.
Dietz corrected me.
My kids all say it wrong too, and
Yeah.
I've stopped correcting everyone.
Every night at the dinner table, you're just talking about Jean-Paul.
my students. I mean, not
Yeah, why do all these philosophers have, like, even Jung?
because they're French. French people. Also, if you ever try to read any of the French philosophers, you might as well not, because they love to see their writing so much that they just like take 400 words to say a two-word idea. Anyhow,
That's why it should come with a TLDR.
yeah, or yeah. Anyhow, sorry.
Jean-Paul Sartre, he has this idea of good faith, right? To live authentically. So it's in the same ballpark here. Meaning the principles we choose out of free will rather than what is convenient or fashionable. We're choosing to live this because
We want to.
We want to, not because it's easy or convenient.
Because society says it, not whatever, because it doesn't mean anything anyway.
And Camus says, face up to our life and appreciate despite the badness in the world. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what, yeah, hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. All that glitters is gold. Only shooting stars break the mold. Yeah, sometimes only shooting stars, like the rich and wealthy, get to break the mold. But does that mean you shouldn't live your life?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that doesn't mean you shouldn't live like a rock star. Get the show
be a
on.
mold breaker.
Get paid.
Yeah.
Embrace the absurdity of the existence happily, like Sisyphus.
Yeah.
Camus wrote a book about Sisyphus, about the guy who spends all of his time pushing a boulder up a cliff. And if you ever played the video game Hades, he made a nice little smiley face in the boulder. He named it Boldy, and he gives you stuff every now and then. Anyway, so I think that's
really cool.
just hey, Smash Mouth. Is it deep?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think there's depth in everything.
I was trying to impress you every now and then with my own philosophy of the real.
That's impressive. Yeah, that's really cool.
But yeah, that song, arguably more successful than the film it came from.
Yeah.
It went, and now Smash Mouth.
Not arguably. I think definitely it was.
I don't even think the band is together anymore, but they were a big deal for a while in the aughts.
We all know that song.
Yeah, we did. Anyway, I thought
that's
that
awesome.
Would give you something funny.
That was cool. So ethics. This is also, again, like a very strong ethical message, even though it's hidden under layers of hilarity and absurdity.
See, you started this episode saying this wasn't a good movie.
It's not. Okay, so if you're like thinking about the greatest movies,
okay,
this is never going to be on anyone's list.
Okay, but
it's only great because of what it does for individual people.
Yeah, okay.
Not for cinema, not for the world as a whole. And so I guess maybe we need two separate categories of greatness.
There are
individual greatness and societal greatness. Sorry,
there's someone out there that this is their favorite movie of all time.
That's me.
Why can't this be one of the greats?
Right. It is for me.
See, like, there are a lot of people who think Stalker is one of the greats.
No.
And who think that movie is garbage.
They are wrong.
But that's what I mean. How come they're right? How come they can say they're
because they control the Criterion Collection. That's why.
It all comes down.
Frickin' bureaucracy.
What's the Mystery Men Criterion Collection?
What's
Am I right?
the stupidest crap we can find? And that's amazing.
There is such a niche internet joke where some people Photoshop fake Criterion covers for movies that will never be on there. I want to see the Criterion cover of Mystery Men. Anyway, your ethics.
So, no, but you're right. You're right. But
thank you.
So I think I need to say this is not a societally great movie, but it is a great movie for me.
Nice.
There you go.
I like that. We'll take that.
Yeah. So, ethics. This is a kind of a deep dive into virtue ethics. So virtue ethics is all about how is this action or this thing going to reflect on me? Like, how are people going to think about me if I do this. And that's Captain Amazing's entire ethics.
Yeah.
Everything that he does is about how is this going to affect me. And so the message of this movie, because he dies halfway through this movie.
Yeah.
So the message of this movie is, in terms of that specific ethics, is that ethics will lead to your destruction. Whether that's physical, social, whatever. Following or making choices based on what other people are going to think about you after the choice is not. This movie says that is not a viable ethics. You will die. So
you'll get your head.
Yeah.
How do you explain what happens to
psychofraculated?
Yeah. Okay.
I love all of the words that they make up for this movie are so awesome.
And I love how it's 1999's graphics too.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even look bad, but you would never see something that looks like that today.
Yeah.
It's weird, and it's like blended, I guess.
Weird, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, psychofraculated, but still fraculated. Like at one point, it's like he's going to get fraculated, and he gets anyhow. It's still fraculated. All right. So the other ethics I chose was rule-bound ethics. So in rule-bound ethics, you do what you're supposed to do because there's a rule that says that.
Right.
And so that is that has shown up in a number of superhero movies, or even just, I remember it in Waterworld, for example, which I really like. Everyone else hates it. I don't care. I like it a lot.
You know what? Waterworld should get a legacy sequel. I want the Mad Max Fury Road version of Waterworld.
I really, really liked Waterworld a lot.
I don't hate it. Actually,
everyone else hates it. It seems like. Anyhow,
you know what? If you go to Universal Studios,
they have a Waterworld.
No, they have a Waterworld stunt show. And it's like the best part of the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
There's all these crazy sets. A plane flies in at one point and makes this big explosion.
Nice.
It's so cool. People are falling. Anyway, it's...
Anyhow, in Waterworld...
I digress.
In Waterworld, who's the bad guy?
Oh, I don't know his name. I don't know.
He's a famous... Anyhow, he's like, evil's always going to win because you got good guys can't break the rules. You can't do things that aren't... in the rule book or whatever. And Casanova Frankenstein says basically that. You good guys are always so bound by the rules that you're never going to win.
Yeah.
The ultimate message in terms of being rule bound is that there are rules that will enable you to win, to be successful.
Yeah.
So
being born rich is one of them.
Well, yes, okay. But right after he says that, he's taken off with the waitress. And that moment is when Mr. Furious's powers actually finally manifest themselves.
Yeah.
Which suggests that the rules, in some instances, probably in a lot of instances, are the vehicle for unleashing potential. They're not restrictive. They're not, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. They are instead a channel towards power and greatness, which I think is a unique ethical message in movies, because almost all movies are like, following rules is dumb. It's no fun to follow rules. They're just trying to take away, like Flashdance you mentioned earlier. No, what was it? Footloose.
Footloose.
That's the message of Footloose. Rules are stupid. You gotta break them. Well, this movie says no. Rules are an essential part of truly becoming who you are, which I thought was really cool. So this movie is suggesting, okay, great. Rule breaking is, and we cannot deny that some rules have to be broken in order for progress or, to become our true selves. But I really just appreciate that there are rules that will enable us. And I'm a very religious person, so I'm thinking in terms of, the commandments can be seen as restrictions. But coming from the inside of them, those guidelines have actually enabled me to become who I am.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had been just a willy-nilly rule breaker, I would not. There's no way I would be the person I am today.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it did a really good job presenting alternate views to kind of the mainstream version of these two ethical schools. So
I like that.
that was really cool that I had never noticed either the philosophy or the ethics until I was looking for them.
Yeah.
See,
that's the point of this podcast, though. Is what's the deeper meaning?
Yeah.
Dive
so
deeper
I
into our
actually
films.
learned a lot about this movie just by looking for those things.
And just talking about it makes me appreciate the movie more.
Yeah.
When Mr. Furious, he's not accepting help.
Yeah.
It's not little known. It's something that maybe doesn't get brought up a lot, but not accepting help is a form of pride.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
for sure.
Being prideful on one hand, like thinking you're the best, but not thinking you need help is a different type of pride.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
agree.
what he was exerting there.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, to keep going, Mr. Furious, in the end, if you look at the very last where they're being interviewed
Yeah.
by the TV camera, like he has broken that. Like he has overcome that. So his response to "Who are you?" is "I'm Roy.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy that was here and I'm in a lot of pain."
Yeah.
Where earlier in the movie when he's trying to like go out with the waitress,
Phoenix.
yeah, I'm Dirk Phoenix, and he's making up all these powers and things. Yeah, so yeah, absolutely, form of pride. So the message of this movie is you have to break that down.
Yeah.
And be you.
You gotta accept help, work with others.
Yep.
Work as a team.
Oh, yeah. Like even when he, goes Hulk or whatever, like he would not have been able to defeat Casanova Frankenstein without the help of the Blue Raja.
Yeah,
I
climbing up.
hadn't even really,
Man,
I hadn't
that's
even,
good.
yeah, so you're right.
I do like that.
Yeah, so the Blue Raja throws his forks into the wall to give him something to climb up.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, man, this movie is great. It's
Pretty good.
personally great. Anyhow, any other, so you had a question.
All right, are the clothes we wear important? That's because at the end they all have new suits.
Yeah.
And it was a big thing for them to look upgrade. In real
That
life,
scene. Ugh. Outward appearance.
yeah, but the clothes we wear, how important are the clothes we wear? That's the question I'm really
I
trying
don't
to
know.
ask.
I think it's a rhetorical statement. What you wear, like you're making an argument with the clothes that you wear.
Oh.
So,
I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not important what you wear. It's important that you are aware of the message, the rhetorical statement that you're making with your clothes.
yeah, and maybe don't wear your pajamas to Walmart.
Guilty.
No, you're not. You've
I
never
have
done
worn my pajama
No,
pants
you
to
have
Walmart.
not.
I mean, I haven't.
that. How dare you? What the heck?
I forgot that I didn't do that.
Do you like Tom Watts?
Tom Watts is, of course, director.
Tom Watts is the guy who makes all the inventions. He's like a
Oh.
singer.
Oh, really?
He has he's got a specific type of songs. I don't know a lot. I only know one off the top of my head because there's in a movie. He sings like a gravelly voice.
What does he sing?
There's a song. I don't know even what it's called. It's like rattled big black bones in the danger zone. This is like he's got like a raspy voice.
Okay.
You're not.
So no, I guess I'm not.
There's a song called "Hell Broke Loose," but it's loose, Luce, like a soldier's name.
Oh.
That's probably one of his more famous ones. I'm not a huge. I like that one song basically. Anyway,
He's got one called "Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis." Wow, cool.
Apparently there's a scene in this movie. He has his lines written on his hand, so he's like talking with his hands because he's got to look at his line or something. Anyway, he's usually a singer. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was. I'm just here for the ladies. So funny, every line. So dessert of the real.
They
Got
no,
salad.
there's an important one.
Oh.
When the shoveler is like, see this egg salad? No, not egg salad.
Egg salad.
This egg, my wife won't even let me eat this. I'm willing to eat that. That's how upset I am. That's like a pivotal thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like so. It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
so
If we don't do this, it doesn't matter if I eat this egg salad sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I didn't have that good of a one.
That's.
I had salad. Like in the very first time they go to the restaurant, Blue Raja gets a salad and Mr. Furious gets a steak, and then they're going out and they're having this whole argument. When you split it 3 ways.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying the steak man picks the pocket of the salad man. Like, we always split it 3 ways. Just pay up. So the next time he goes to eat, he gets his great big hamburger.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's so funny.
Everything I love. Oh, man. This movie is great.
This movie is great.
I'm going to say that.
What do you give out of 5 stars?
5
stars? Nice.
This is a perfect joy-bringing movie.
I love that for you.
So do you have any recommendations of The Reel?
Our other recommendations are ones we've mentioned along the way. Hey, watch
The
Stalker. Watch
No.
Stalker. See what you think of that.
Okay,
of course, Megamind. And you know what? Batman and Robin, which is the worst Batman movie.
Yes, it is.
But if you watch that movie, then this movie, you'd appreciate this movie more.
Probably.
Yeah.
All of those Batmans.
Well, there's the 2 Tim Burton ones, which I think are great, but definitely its own thing. But then the 2 Schumacher ones.
Wait, which are the 2? The one with Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson, and then the one with Penguin and Catwoman. Those are the Burton ones.
Oh, okay.
Then Schumacher comes in. It does get more colorful, definitely more aimed at kids and commercials. The Riddler and Two-Face, and then Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. Yeah. And Bane. Remember Bane was in that?
I don't.
Bane was a joke character until literally The Dark Knight Rises because of Batman and Robin.
Huh.
And like Christopher Nolan's like, I'm turning Bane back into a good character again, essentially. Like he's not just only muscle and dumb. He's actually supposed to be smart. Yeah. Anyway.
He's the one that breaks Batman's back.
I will break you. Man, we should watch the Dark Knight movies.
We should. That I would not mind at all.
I adopted the dog. I was born.
So I have a lot of recommendations of The Reel because this, whatever genre of comedy this is a genre that I love. Sure. Anyhow, so we have Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I think is almost a flawless. It's hilarious. So it's a parrot spoof, satire, whatever, of slasher movies. Zombieland, I think, is a magnificent satire, parody, whatever we're calling it, of zombie movies. Hot Fuzz is a magnificent parody of like the cop genre movies. The Other Guys is another magnificent buddy cop satire, parody, whatever it is, movie. I know that you actually hate this movie, but I actually love The Hitman's Bodyguard, which is a satire parody of like the action movie genre.
Yeah, not a fan.
I know. Actually. Even though it has Samuel L. Jackson.
You spent 3 movies of slander.
And Ryan Reynolds in it.
Wow.
Which are 2 of the people that I really don't like.
Yeah.
This is a movie, The Hitman's Bodyguard is a movie where they're the only character that they can play fits perfectly in what the movie's trying to do, which is a satire. So every other time they're playing that character in a quote-unquote serious movie, I think of The Hitman's Bodyguard and I'm like, okay, your character is absurd. You've already demonstrated that very well in The Hitman's Bodyguard. Why are you trying to be serious about it? So, and then one last one, actually, that also happens to be a Ryan Reynolds movie is called Voices.
I haven't seen Voices.
Which is a parody of, or a satire, like, whatever genre, like Silence of the Lambs fits in.
Psychological thriller?
But that specific, like my reality is not everyone else's reality kind of psychological thriller. So I really like. So I guess I'm gonna have to dial it back on the Ryan Reynolds hatred, because he has 2 movies that I really like. So
I guess it's time for you to watch Deadpool 3 and add that to our...
No. Oh, wait, there's more. Rocket Man, not the Elton John Rocket Man.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
I think it was a Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's got Harlan Ellison? What is? No, it's not Harlan Ellison. I think it's Harlan Williams. It's hilarious. One of my favorites. It's like a parody of like Apollo 13 type movies.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that is my list of satire movies that I think everyone should. Oh wait, there's one more. Always Be My Maybe.
Okay, yeah,
is the best romantic comedy ever made, and it's kind of it's kind of poking fun at the whole genre of romantic comedy. So there's another one. We should probably end because I'm gonna keep thinking of other ones.
I know. I mean,
Fun with Dick and Jane.
That's a great one. That was a lot of fun.
Magnificent parody of like the whole or satire or whatever of the whole like like the what is it, the financial superpower movies like
Wall Street
and stuff like that. So there you go. So this is a genre
that you like.
I love this genre.
Do you like the Naked Gun movies?
No, those are more. I like
spoofs,
them.
I think.
I like them, but those
are more spoofs.
Right. So the whatever genre all of the movies I just listed in is a smart genre. It's a genre that is intelligent enough to like the movies are. They fit in the genre that they're satirizing, as well as being
that's the difference,
right? Being making fun of. So like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. If you didn't know it was supposed to be funny, you could think that it was kind of a poorly made slasher kind of thing. So anyhow, whatever the list of movies, they are the intelligent side. The intelligent version of like The Naked Gun or Robin Hood Men in Tights or Spaceballs, which I also really like, but not. I mean, they're not like great. Like
we should watch Spaceballs as a bonus episode
for Star. Yeah, it's a Star Wars parody for sure. I would be down for that. I love Spaceballs.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. All right, so. Thank you for listening to our Mystery Men episode.
Yes.
It's been fun seeing Jason so excited about all this.
It is. I mean, this is,
next week, we're getting back into Star Wars, but Solo, a Star Wars story, where that's our next movie. We're watching the 2 standalones, because that's where they go chronologically anyway.
Okay.
And then another Jason's Choice after those
So
2.
Solo is next.
And then Rogue One. Unless I can convince you to
completely
watch
unnecessary backstory
one of the
Solo.
arcs of Andor, which
we're already doing like 11
I know, but
movies.
Every 3 episodes its own they could each be like a movie. It's so good. Yeah, anyway.
I don't know, we'll see. I'll think about it. Depending on my emotional reaction to the Solo and the whatever the other one is. Yeah,
I am curious to know what you think about these next 2.
Because Han Solo is one of the great characters of film.
He is.
He really, really is.
So, see what you think of Solo, a Star Wars story.
Is it Harrison Ford?
It is not.
Oh, no.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
No one else can be Han Solo.
Thank you so much for listening.
No. Okay, we love you.
We love you.
And now I'm mad.
Critically. How